to pass, and we should be able to pass all of them. And I will be mindful of the time for us to let our Muslim brothers go and celebrate. Brothers and sisters. Bukoto East. Yes.
Thank you.
Is it on the communication?
Yes, sir.
Let me have Bukoto East first.
Thank you.
Bukoto East first.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. On your communication, you talked about the murder in Masaka, and that is Bukoto East, in Buunga Sub County. Good enough, the Minister for Security is here. We experienced that murder the day which followed on Saturday, and 5 people were murdered in one home. The community which I represent, it is in panic, and we have many questions which are unanswered. We have a challenge, Right Honorable Speaker, that Masaka, it is a new district, whereby
Masaka has never been a new district. It's one of the traditional districts, unless if you are talking about the city.
It was created, Masaka has been there. When they created the city, the headquarters for police are now in Masaka city. So Masaka, the rural Masaka district, it has no police headquarters. And we have no patrols. The DPC of Masaka district and the head of security in Masaka, and that is the RDC, and the DISO, the district internal security officer, they all sit in Masaka city. When this happened, we contacted the DPC of Masaka, but he had to contact the people in Masaka city to come for our rescue. So, Right Honorable Speaker, as the area member of Parliament, we urge the Minister for Internal Affairs and the Minister responsible for security, one is to provide.
Your neighbor wants to give you information.
Thank you, Honorable, for giving way. Right Honorable, the issue of the capacity of police in Masaka and Greater Masaka is a serious issue. The division where I come from, Chimanya Kabonera, we have 0 patrol vehicle, 0 motorcycle that is moving, and it is a whole division. Right Honorable, I want to request that in addition, when the Minister of Security is appraising this house on the issues of security in Masaka, he appraises us also on the facilitation of the police officers in that area so that they can respond to the security issues in that area. I thank you so much.
Honorable Minister, you know what happened upon the creation of the cities? When these cities were created, the facilities that were meant for the district remained for the cities. So the outside, the rural part of that district, not only in Masaka, all the other cities don't have vehicles, police stations, and that kind of thing.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and we extend condolences to all the families that lost their dear ones. But on the issue of creation of new districts because of cities, the police actually does not follow the administrative units. They have their own zones. So Masaka is still served by the headquarters in the city, the district of Masaka. Regarding the necessities, the facilitation, that's a different matter. As you know, Parliament, we are the ones who appropriate. We shall liaise with the Parliament and see how to improve the facilitation of
Honorable Minister, We need adequate police officers in the area. We don't have enough police officers in most of these districts. And what you can actually do is to open a police post which is near those areas so that you're able to manage to see what is happening in the area. Just imagine people are being killed in the night and the police station is 20 kilometers away. What happens? We need the vehicles. Those people need vehicles. We have just passed a budget. That should be taken as priority.
Much obliged, Right Honourable Speaker. I will liaise with the Ministry of Internal Affairs on the matter.
And actually, if you don't have money in the budget, for us, we're even willing to give you a supplementary on the issue of police, because we need safety.
I appreciate that last comment, and I will come back.
Thank you. There's a procedure matter. Procedure.
Thank
Can
you.
I have two procedures?
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, on the 23rd day of May 2023, this House adopted both reports, the minority and the majority report of the Joint Committee of Physical Infrastructure and Defense on the implementation of the Intelligence Transport Monitoring System. Both reports had raised very critical issues and were both adopted. However, today I realize that implementation of the same is going on without harmonization of the two adopted reports.
So
Right
what-
Honorable Speaker,
So what is your procedure matter?
are we proceeding on well without the harmonization of these two very critical reports? Because as I speak, URA was given, the Commissioner General was directed to begin enforcing the same. However, this Parliament came out clearly and adopted both reports, the minority and majority. Implementation is going on without harmonization. How are we doing it? Are we proceeding on well? This is the matter that Monitor has written about. Very critical issues that were raised by URA itself. There are risks that we have not looked at. Therefore, it's important, Right Honorable Speaker, to address this matter.
Who was supposed to harmonize?
We didn't harmonize.
I am saying who was supposed to harmonize?
Parliament.
Thank you,
No.
Right Honourable Speaker. We took note of the decision of Parliament to harmonize the two reports, and we have harmonized the two reports.
Honorable members, can we first have the harmonized position? Can we have the harmonized position laid on table as we await the implementation? Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the procedure matter I am raising on is related to the Uganda Police Force. Right Honorable Speaker, you find that in most areas in Uganda, including my area and many other areas, the number of police posts are instead being reduced. Several police stations are being closed. And then the rate of crime...
It is not police stations closed.
Police posts.
It is police posts.
Yes, Right Honorable Speaker, I beg your pardon. Right Honorable Speaker, as these closures are taking place, the crime rate is increasing. Therefore, the procedure matter I was raising, Right Honorable Speaker, is that would it be procedure right for us to ask the Minister of Security to give us a clear position of which police posts are supposed to be there and which ones are not supposed to be there as Parliament, so that we know and the population knows and people know that they are secure, because there is a lot of panic. Every police post thinks that tomorrow they are going to be normal. Right Honorable Speaker, and some of them are
Honorable
very far in the
members.
village, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, can we have a Minister of Internal Affairs here? We are overstretching security. Let's have a Minister of Internal Affairs here to respond to that. Who is the government chief whip today? You're acting, eh? Who is the leader of...
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. No, I want to talk about internal affairs, about police, because you remember there was a time when there was a change of deployment because of some insecurity that was going on. So the security changed its deployment. We cannot discuss the details, but removing of a police post does not mean that there is no police. These are just, yes, the security is handled in so many ways. There is when they were attacking few, small, yes, you remember, and we changed tactics.
So
But
does
the
it mean you removed the building, but you left the personnel?
Yeah. The formation is changed. We just changed the formation. We can't discuss the details. But where the Honorable Wanika said that the personnel are fewer, that can be looked into. And if it's a question of money, Right Honorable Speaker, you gave us a green light to come back for a supplementary. We shall come back. But security is guaranteed.
Honorable members, truth be told, we have few personnel. We need to look at the issue of police personnel. I have written so many times asking for police personnel in my own district. I have not been given even one. Can we have an issue of the personnel handled first? And when you're recruiting, don't recruit your relatives who are not trained, and we get that problem of Somalia. Let's recruit people professionally without saying this one is a son of so and so. It should be on merit. This house will provide you money for that. Honorable members, in the public gallery this afternoon, we have students and teachers of Seta Junior from Mukono North Constituency. They are represented by Honorable Chiwanuka Abdallah and Honorable Nabukera and Anifa. You're most welcome. Where are you? Please stand up. You're welcome. Thank you for coming. Join me in welcoming them. And thank you for coming to Parliament. We also have Honorable Akelo Lucy's daughter, Achom Julia. Julia, where are you? That is our daughter. Welcome. Honorable members, in the VIP gallery, this afternoon we have a delegation of subcommittees of standing orders of the National Assembly of Zambia, led they are led by the first Deputy Speaker, and they include Honorable Attractor Malungo. Right Honorable, you're welcome. She's the first Deputy Speaker of Zambia. Honorable Princess Kasune, welcome. Honorable Cornelius, the Provisional Minister of South Province, welcome. Honorable Stephen Kampango, Member of Parliament. Stephen, welcome. Honorable Chonde, welcome. Honorable Joel, welcome. Honorable Asande, don't make noise in Parliament. Honorable Jamba, welcome. Honorable Imanga, welcome. Honorable Brenda, you're welcome. Mrs. Loveness, you're welcome. Mr. Nyangu, welcome. Mrs. Doreen, welcome. Mrs. Chalema, welcome. They are here to witness the proceedings of this house. You're all most welcome. And thank you for coming to Parliament of Uganda. Our parliament is a people-centered parliament. And we legislate for the people outside there. Yes, honorable members. Still on communication?
Yes, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank you for your communication. And as the opposition, we also want to wish the Islamic faith Eid Adha. Madam Speaker, on the issue of the honourable member from Bukoto, Committee of Government Assurance has made reports and they were given the Clerk of Parliament. We made the visit to all the cities and we have about 4 reports that have not yet been brought to the House, but we gave them the Clerk. If that report can be tabled here, it will give all the findings we got from the cities. And Madam Speaker, the intelligence, I think the Clerk will give him those reports and then they are put on the order paper. Second, Madam Speaker, I heard General Jim, and I want to thank him, Madam Speaker, for what he has said. But the issue of the rampant death must be given adequate attention. I know he was in Israel for some time, and during that time he gave very dedicated service.
Honorable, we already made a ruling to that effect. We need a report on what government is doing, and we need to restore peace in the area. We have already given a response to that and a ruling. So we are waiting for a report from Internal Affairs, from Security. On the issue of your reports that would give this House information, I invited all of you, the chairpersons of committees, to come for business committee, and that's why we should have looked at pending business. None of you came from Committee of Assurance. That said, we shall still put you on the order paper and you will come and present. Yes, Honorable.
Madam Speaker, if you could give me 2 minutes as leader of opposition, because I was not, I was trying to say something very critical.
I have already made a ruling on the issue of the murders.
Madam, I'm not on the...
Let's not do gallery politics. I have made a ruling.
Madam Speaker, I'm not in gallery politics.
Okay.
If you may seek my indulgence.
Next, Honorable Baka. We need a report on issues of Masaka. And the killings in Masaka are very
thanks very
bad.
much. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm just raising on a matter of national importance, basing on Rule 49.
Is it on communication?
Can I wait? Can I wait? I wait a bit.
Honorable Baka, we'll do that on Thursday. There are no matters of national importance today.
Okay.
We have a number of bills to process.
Most obliged.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, in your communication, you've mentioned about our loved ones who have passed on, and we also join to condone with the families. Madam Speaker, as I prepare and adjust in my will, I would wish to be rectified and get to know from government the very people who are supposed to have official burials and even be brought, so that later on when I leave this earth and I've made my will, I'm not disturbed, because we even lost Honorable Kato Lubwama some time back, and we've just lost Honorable
Just repeat what you were saying. This Mokatuliki was taking my time. Mokatuliki was...
From your communication, Madam Speaker, as we continue to have some of our colleagues who are in these different parliaments, as like the way we lost Honorable Kato Lubwama and we've now lost Honorable Francis, we would wish to know from government the very people who are supposed to have those official burials, even at times were brought, so that I can adjust my will well. Later on when I leave this earth, people and my family is not disturbed by any other arrangement. So could we please know that?
Thank you so much. I want you to look at Administration of Parliament Act, the Judiciary Act, the Standing Orders. Attorney General.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, like you've correctly stated, we have various laws that are providing for the various persons. Administration and Parliament Act, Public Service Orders, the
Judiciary.
However, what we are doing right now, Right Honourable Speaker, is we are getting all these provisions from the different statutes and consolidating them into a funeral policy for the whole government, so it can be in one place. Public Service should be coming with this soon.
Thank you.
I'm seeking clarification from the Attorney General. This matter has been raised here several times about determining who is to be brought here. In Uganda now, it's only the president who says bring A, B, C or the other one. Recently, Madam Speaker, I talked to the AG when our former judge of the Supreme Court laid in state. And indeed, the public didn't know that the judge had to stay here for night because of the law we brought. And it looked as if it was ugly in public. So what we are asking, Madam Speaker, is government to bring a law which determines who is supposed to be brought to Parliament, not be made by the President as an individual. And if we could achieve that, that's the clarification I'm seeking from the Attorney General. If we get that law, we shall not have discrepancies. We've had a scenario here when the former Attorney General was brought and was left outside, and the body was not brought inside the House. And the public on the other side never felt happy. So we must have a legislation. If it is Sewung, he has been in Parliament for 3 terms. Is he eligible to be brought? He has been in Parliament for 1 term. Is he eligible? He has been a minister. There was one, a former, the first ambassador in Uganda, Madam Speaker, is from my area. He was not even brought to Parliament in Uganda. But you just look at Mr. Museveni, he comes out, Sewung must be, I will get votes the other end, let him be brought. We don't want that.
Thank you. Honorable members, the laws are very, very clear. When you look at the Administration of Judiciary Act, the Supreme Court judges will lie on stage. And that's why you find the body of Justice Arach, the body of Justice Opi Awere was lying here overnight. The Administration of Parliament Act is also very clear. When a sitting member of Parliament dies, your body will be brought here, but you will not lie here. You will not lie in the state. But when the Right Honorable Lanya died, the body stayed here. There should be a difference. A member of Parliament, a speaker, Supreme Court judge. Next item. Next item. Next item.
Item 3, motion for reconsideration of the National Sports Bill 2023 as returned by HE the President in accordance with Article 9(3) of the Constitution and Rule 142 of the Rules of Procedure.
Honorable members, you recall that on 20th June, Tuesday 2023, I informed the House that His Excellency the President, through a letter dated 17th May 2023, and pursuant to Article 913B of the Constitution 1995, communicated to the Right Honorable Speaker that he withheld the assent of the bill, the sports bill, and gave reasons as why it was withheld, and the reasons were mentioned in the letter. Subsequently, I referred the letter to the committee and the bill for reconsideration, and I am informed the bill is ready for reconsideration. However, I will require the Minister of Sports to move a motion to that effect for reconsideration. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion for the reconsideration of the National Sports Bill 2023.
Seconded by Honorable Bakabulindi. Moma Mapendusi, by the Attorney General, by the Minister of Elders, by Anyaka, by Sise, by Honorable Magogo, by the Hollow House. Would you love to speak to your motion?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. In accordance with Rule 143.3 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament of Uganda, I beg to move that the bill entitled the National Sports Bill 2023 be reconsidered by the House. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, the National Sports Bill 2021, a private member's bill, was tabled for the first reading on Thursday, 10th November 2022. The bill was referred to the Committee of Education and Sports in accordance with Rule 129(1) of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. Following the first reading of the National Sports Bill 2021 on Tuesday, 6 December 2022, the Minister responsible for Education and Sports tabled the Physical Activity and Sports Bill 2022 for the first reading. The bill, too, was subsequently referred to the Committee on Education and Sports in accordance with Rule 1291 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. The committee considered the bill in accordance with Rule 129 and 189C of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament and harmonized the two bills into the National Sports Bill. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, on Thursday, 2nd March 2023, Parliament considered and passed the National Sports Bill. Subsequently, the Clerk to Parliament transmitted a presentation copy of the bill to the President for assent. The President, in accordance with Article 91(3)(b) of the Constitution, withheld his assent to the bill and returned it to Parliament for consideration. The President, in his letter to the Right Honorable Speaker, dated 17th May 2023, requested for the reconsideration of the bill. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the Committee on Education and Sport has examined the matter returned by the President and is ready to report on the same matter. I beg to move, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. I now invite the Chairperson of Committee of Education and Sports to present his report. And as we wait for him, in the public gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation from Parliament of Ghana. Planning Committee members led by the Deputy Clerk to Parliament, and this include Mr. Ebenezer, Deputy Clerk to Parliament. You're welcome. Mr. Adam, Deputy Editor, welcome. Mr. Fred Labi, Clerk Secretariat, welcome. Mr. Kate Ado, Miss Kate Ado, welcome. We have Mr. Camilo, welcome. We have Abigail. We have Komi, welcome. They are here to observe the proceedings of the House. And I'm happy that when our neighboring countries, neighboring parliaments want to do benchmarking, they come and benchmark in Uganda. I want to thank you so much. I don't expect our members now here to say they want to go and do benchmarking in New York. We shall come and do benchmarking in your parliament, not in New York, because we can never change Uganda to be New York, but we can change Uganda to be like Ghana and like Zambia. Thank you so much for coming. Chair of the committee and honorable members, this report is going to be a brief one. The reasons for return were very clear. Yes, procedure.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I have noted with a lot of consternation that over the past 1 year, so many bills passed by this House and sent to the President for accent have been returned.
It's not accent. It is assent.
For accent. That one. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm so concerned. Is this an indictment on us as the 11th Parliament that we are not doing a good job? Because at times the bills have come back here.
How many bills have come back when they are not assented to?
So many, Right Honorable Speaker. The Anti-Homosexual Act came back. The Markets Bill came back. The pension fund came back. Is that a problem? Yeah, I am asking, is it a problem? Isn't it provided for in the Constitution? Yeah, it is provided for, Your Excellency, but the magnitude. Right Honorable Speaker, the magnitude on which these bills are coming back is very disheartening.
Honorable members, I want to advise you, if you have nothing to say, don't stand up. This Parliament has done a very, very good job. And I want to commend you, members of Parliament, for the work you've done. And this returning of a bill is a process of making a bill. So when you start saying that maybe we've not done a good job, maybe to you, but the House has done a good job. Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues. Madam Speaker, as the honorable minister has presented in his motion, our report of the Sectoral Committee on Education and Sports on Return National Sports Bill 2023 is ready with the signed minutes of the meeting. Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on table before I proceed.
Please lay, and I have members who have not signed the report. I need an explanation from each member why they did not sign the report. Now, that's where we are talking about attendance. I want from each member who has not signed. I've only got an apology from Honorable Joram. That is the elders' youth. And maybe for your information, he's sick, he's in hospital. He's admitted in the hospital. The rest, I never got any apology. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you'd allow me not to repeat the information that's similar to what the minister has raised in his motion. So you allow me to move from page 2 to page 3. You allow me also to move to page 4. Page 4, I also mentioned briefly, Madam Speaker and honorable members, about the role of the committee in consideration of a bill returned by the President. That is in line with Article 91 of the Constitution that imposes an obligation on Parliament to ensure that a bill passed by Parliament is as soon as possible presented to the President for assent, as already mentioned by the Minister. Madam Speaker, you allow me to go on page 5. The second paragraph on that page 5, that Rule 143 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament guides Parliament and a committee to which a returned bill by His Excellency the President is referred to by Parliament. The rule requires the Speaker to read to the House the request from the President, Madam Speaker, which you did. And by that, you allow me to go on page 6. Part 3, consideration of matters returned by the President. The committee has examined the provisions returned for reconsideration by His Excellency the President and hereby reports. Part 3.1, Clause 2, interpretation. The first proposal by His Excellency the President relates to the need to define the word representative. Committee observation. The committee has examined the proposal by His Excellency the President on the need to define the word representative and observes that the use of the word representative under Clause 32(2), B, C, and D presupposes that those constituencies stakeholders to be represented on the board have organizations that bring them together, from which representatives to the board will be appointed, whereas not. Therefore, there is a need to define the word representative. However, it should be noted that since the word representative is used in other clauses other than Clause 32(2), it is appropriate that the word representative be defined under Clause 32 to make the definition applicable to only that Clause 32. Recommendation. In order to ensure effective implementation of the provisions by the Minister in appointing members of the board, the committee recommends that Clause 32 should be amended to include the definition of the word representative. And that one is clearly indicated in the amendments, Madam Speaker and honorable members. Clause 32, Board of the National Council of Sports. His Excellency the President proposes that Section 32(2) should be amended as follows. The National Council of Sports shall have a board of 7 members, which shall be the governing board of the council. The board shall consist of the chairperson and other 6 members. A representative from the Ministry responsible for sports, 2 representatives from any other 2 traditional regions of Uganda, a representative of the National Sports Association or the National Sports Federation, a representative of the athletes, a representative of the private sector, and a person with experience in sports administration. A member of the board referred to experience in sports administration. The Minister shall appoint the members of the board taking into consideration the following. A, the interests of the sports sector. B, the shareholders of the sports sector. C, persons with disability. D, gender balance. His Excellency the President urges that there is the need to have a small board that will not put a financial strain on the government resources, that the same has been done for other government agencies and authorities, and that this will also ease decision making. The committee examined the proposal by His Excellency the President under Clause 32 and noted that the request by His Excellency the President relates to the following issues. A, the size of the board. B, the replacement of Clause 32(2)(b) to read as follows. 2 representatives from any 2 traditional regions of Uganda. C, in subclause 3, by inserting the word administration at the end of the provision. And D, the replacement of the phrase stakeholders of the sports sector as one of the considerations by the Minister while appointing members of the board with the phrase shareholders of the sports sector. Committee observation. The committee observed that whereas the bill does not specifically state that the board of the National Council of Sports shall consist of 7 members, the bill carries the same spirit in the composition of the board. Therefore, in order to enhance clarity, the committee is agreeable to the President's proposal to have the number of the board members clearly stated and clearly provide for the representation of any two traditional regions of Uganda on the board by two persons. The committee, however, noted that it was not clear what the traditional regions of Uganda are, in that they are not specified under the law. It therefore observed the need to make reference to the first schedule of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda 1995, which provides for the regions of Uganda. As regards the use of the phrase shareholders of the sports sector, as proposed by His Excellency the President, the committee observed that the use of the phrase stakeholders of the sports sector as used under clause 32.4 is more appropriate and encompassing, given that the word shareholder restricts the minister's powers to the interests of the persons who have a monetary stake in the sports sector. Recommendation. The committee recommends that A, the number of members of the board should be clearly specified as 7. B, clause 32.2b should be amended to read as 2 persons who shall be 2 representatives from any 2 traditional regions of Uganda specified in the first schedule of the Constitution. C, clause 32.3 should be amended to insert the word administration immediately after the word sports. And D, the use of the phrase stakeholders of the sports sector under clause 32.4 should be maintained. Under part 3.3, section 75, public sports facilities. Section 75.1 provides that the land on which the public sports facilities are established and the public sports facilities thereon shall vest in the council. His Excellency the President proposes the need to make provisions for the schedule of the sports facilities that will vest in the council, specifying the location, acreage, and current registered proprietors of the sports facilities. The procedure for vesting the property in the council should also be provided. Committee observation. The committee, while examining the proposal by His Excellency the President, obtained a list of public sports facilities from the National Council of Sports indicated below. Madam Speaker, I request that I don't go through the table. It is indicated already and is clearly shown on the screens. You allow me now to proceed. That the committee examined that the list of public sports facilities and observed that most of the public sports facilities are owned by local governments and do not have the full particulars of the land, including the block number, plot number, and acreage. The committee therefore further scrutinized the entire clause 75 and noted that the provision had an effect of vesting all properties on which public sports facilities are established, including land owned by local governments, to the National Council of Sports. The implication of this is the deprivation of local governments and other entities of their right to own property, contrary to Article 26.2 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. Madam Speaker, the Article 26 is about protection from deprivation of property, and is clear also displayed on the screen. After going through the article, Madam Speaker, and the Local Government Act, Section 6.1, the committee came out with this recommendation. The committee recommended that clause 75 should be deleted. Part 3.4, Schedule 2, National Sports Discipline. Discipline is recognized at the commencement of the Act. His Excellency the President noted that whereas National Council of Sports has 51 recognized national sports federations, the list in Schedule 2 provide for 50 national sports federations stroke associations. In addition, kickboxing provided for under the schedule is no longer a recognized sport by the council and should therefore be deleted. HRS should be added in the schedule as it is recognized by National Council of Sports. The committee observation. The committee has examined the proposal by His Excellency the President and observed that the National Sports Bill as returned by the President under Schedule 2 does not include kickboxing. The committee further considered the issue raised by His Excellency the President relating to the National Sports Federation recognized by National Council of Sports, and noted that Schedule 2 lists the sports disciplines and not sports federations as stated in the President's letter. Whereas the sports federations, which are 51, include the Association of Uganda University Sport. This is not a sports discipline and therefore could not be included in the schedule. This leaves the number of sports disciplines at 50. Recommendation: the committee recommends that archery sports discipline be added as proposed by His Excellency the President, since it is recognized by the National Council of Sports. Madam Speaker and honorable members, I beg to report.
Thank you so much, Chair. And the report is self-explanatory. Yes, Shadow.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I thank Chair for the report. But my concern is about vesting of properties. We know that true, this land is for local government. But we have got a bad experience that most of the land has been given away by the local government. I think we should add in, if it says with the local government, it shouldn't be sold, mortgaged, or leased by any person.
When you look at section 75(2), it brings that out clearly. We have not agreed that we are going to delete.
Yeah, well, I don't agree.
Why are we deleting
that
it?
we delete 75. That's what the committee chair said. That
No,
we
we are not. We have not agreed on that.
Okay, thank you.
Why should we delete it? Yes, former Minister of Sports.
Thanks very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank the committee for that quick response on the bill, and I think I also should express my appreciation to the private members found of this bill. I have listened to the amendments, and in fact, members, I thank you very much for supporting the bill, because sport is now an industry that have started creating jobs for our youth and marketing our country. I was looking at two things. The representation on the board, and I agree that the board should be having a minimum number of 7. And when they say the different disciplines to be represented on the board, that brings sanity, that they will sit alone and select their person whom will be answerable to them to come to the board. And on the issue of people with disability, Right Honourable Speaker, I think that was a very good innovation. We have been having different disciplines of Paralympic, people with disability, and they have been marginalized. Their presence on the board now is properly guaranteed. And I wanted just to pose one question. A minister is the overall overseer of that board and activities in sports. Do we need 2 representatives from the ministry when the minister is there? Isn't he?
Is a minister a board member?
No, he's an overseer.
It is one. The letter is saying one.
Is it saying
a
representative on the board? Oh, one. That one I agree. Otherwise, I want to thank the chairperson for that quick response, and I urge the members that we pass this revised bill.
So are you passing the motion?
Move. So I second the motion.
Motion.
I move that the bill and its motion be adopted and be passed by the entire House. I beg to move.
Motion. Motion. Motion.
Right Honourable Speaker, having listened to the good report by the committee and the few submissions that have been made here, I beg to move that debate be closed and we move to committee stage. I beg to move.
Is it seconded? Is it seconded by Silwanye? By Omara, Olobo, Dokolo, Budaka, Daudi, Attorney General, 2 Daudis. by the whole house, by Dr. Bedi, Hassani, by Isaiah, and Akelo. Rose, you're still standing by Rose, by Amero. Honorable members, quorum. Clerk. We have physically present 128, virtually 56, we have 184, as opposed to 177. We now have the quorum. I now put a question that the National Sports Bill 2023, as returned by His Excellency the President, in accordance with the Article 913B of the Constitution and Rule 142 of the Rules of Procedure, be considered by this Honorable House. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
The National Sports Bill 2023, as returned by His Excellency the President, Bills Committee stage. Clause 32.
Chair.
Madam Speaker, close. Madam Chair, beg your pardon. Clause 32 is substituted for the following. Board of National Council of Sports. 32.1, the council shall have a board which shall be the governing body of the council. 32.2, the board shall consist of 7 members appointed by the minister. 3, the minister shall appoint a chairperson of the board from among the members of the board. 4, the board shall comprise of A representative of the ministry responsible for sports, B, 2 representatives from any 2 traditional regions of Uganda specified in the first schedule of the Constitution, C, a representative of the national sports associations or national sports federations, D, a representative of the athletes, E, a representative of the private sector, and F, a person with knowledge and experience in the sports administration. The minister shall, that's 5, Madam Speaker, the minister shall, in appointing members of the board, take into consideration the following. Interests of the sports sector, that's A. B, stakeholders of the sports sector. C, persons with disability. And D, gender balance. 6, in this section, representative means a person appointed by the minister to be a member of the board to represent the stakeholders under subsection 4A, B, C, and D. Justification to enhance clarity.
Clarification. Chair, Madam Chair.
Sponsor.
Clarification.
Okay.
Can you give us the meaning of the word traditional regions?
The traditional
Can a
regions,
region be traditional?
they are provided for in the Constitution.
As a traditional?
Yes.
Okay.
In the Constitution and in first check the second schedule. First schedule. Let's resolve one issue by one. The first schedule has Kampala and districts of Uganda, where you have Bundibujo and Kasese are of Rwenzori. Busia, Butaleja, Palisa, Tororo are of Bukedi. Abim, Kabong, Kotido, Moroto are of Karamoja. Mbale, Sironko, Manafa are of Bugisu. Buko, Kapchora are of Sebei. Ajuman, Moyo are of Madi. Should I read all? Yes, Aisha.
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, the whole phrase needs clarification. When you say a representative from any two of the regions, I just do not understand it. There are
Two
several
traditional regions.
Yes, there are several regions, and a representative from any two of the traditional regions. I do not understand it. So can we get clarification over that?
Attorney General, let's get a clarification on that.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. There are 16 traditional regions, 17 traditional regions, but you can have 2 representatives for the 17 traditional regions.
From any of the 17.
So they can come from anywhere.
They can come the way you people. Yes,
Chair, that's different. What the Attorney General is talking about is different from what is written. When you say a representative from any of the 16, is different from a
17.
representative.
2 from any of the 17.
But they said a representative from any two.
2 representatives from any of the 17 regions. Honorable members, until you all sit, first give a clarification.
It says 2 persons who shall be representatives of all the traditional regions of Uganda specified in the first schedule of the Constitution. 2 persons who shall be representatives of all the traditional regions.
Honorable members, remember you have other representatives. You have the disability, you have from federations. So when the minister is considering, the minister will look at who is coming from the federations, who is coming from disability, and then choose 2 from the traditional regions. If the other aspects have not covered, say, Butambala is under where? Buganda. If it has not covered, then the minister will pick somebody from where it has not been covered. Something that there must be balancing, something of national character.
Then, Chair, with your permission, Chair.
Can I hear from the minister?
Honorable colleagues, for that specific, for us to make it clear, first of all, the board we are talking about has to go through a cabinet process. So in cabinet, all these matters are going to be taken into consideration, specifically what is specified in the law. Yes.
Alum? Honorable Alum?
Yeah, thank you so much, Right Honorable Chair. Right Honorable Chair, you can see how contentious this issue is. I would like to request the minister.
This issue is not contentious. You're only failing to understand.
Madam Chair, allow me submit. I would like to request the minister to address our concern the way he has really attempted to say it very well, to try to put it very clearly so that when we pass this law, at least we are assured that the region, no region will be marginalized. Then too, Madam Chair, the issue of a representation of a private sector. I would like to suggest that this private sector should be somebody who has interest in the sports sub-sector. Thank you.
When you look at F, Honorable Santa, when you look at F, a person with experience in sports administration, but why are you for making noise? I am still attending to Santa. It says a person with experience in sports administration must be in the board. Okay? So your issue is answered. And now let me go to Patrick.
Madam Chair, thank you very much.
Patrick, you're a member of the committee?
But at committee
Okay,
stage, Madam Chair, rules allow me. Committee stage, I'm allowed, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
No, Madam
I'll come to you, Patrick. Let me first hear from him. I'll come back to you.
Thank you, Chair. The provision presupposes that someone is a representative for you to be a board member. How do you accrue representation when it is the minister who has appointed you from the region? You cease to be a representative. Those two members from the regions, they cannot be representatives. They are representing who? How did they become representative when there is no process?
Can we first have that responded to?
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Chair. Chair and colleagues, you have agreed that there are 7 board members. We have agreed that there are 17 regions. We have agreed that there are representatives of athletes, representatives of the private sector, representatives of persons with knowledge, representatives of National Sports Federation. So we have 23. So from 23 interests, you must choose 7. From 23 interests, you must choose 7. Therefore, when they say a representative, the duty is placed upon the minister to say, when you are bringing this particular person, what interest in the sports sector were you taking care of? It could be a region, because some region is left behind. It could be athletics. So it could be gender, it could be disability. So what we are saying, colleagues, let me finish. Let me finish. No, let me finish. So, right honorable colleagues, what we are having here is we are trying to write a law which tries to create within 7 members everything that the minister must take into consideration. It may not be possible, but we may be lucky. We may get an athlete who has experience in sports administration, who is from Central Region, who is disabled, who is all these things. And that person may take care of those interests. But let us not imagine, colleagues, that we can write 7 members and take care of all the interests in the law.
Isaiah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Honorable members, is this the first time we are having a board in National Council of Sports? No, I am asking, is it the first time? Why haven't you been complaining of the existing one? Yes, Isaiah?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, may I not say a big challenge with this? Since we are talking of representatives to the board from the 17 or the traditional regions, I thought these regions are going to have their representatives who come together to choose amongst themselves of the 2 or second 2 or 3 whom the minister can appoint on from. So for me, if that was the procedural issue, I believe that the region should come together. They will do like other unions, the disabled, the what and what, pick their representatives. The same way these regions can sit and pick their representatives, 2 of them, the representatives
Honorable
of those
members,
regions. The representatives
honorable
of those
members,
regions,
I want
they come together.
Honorable members,
The region,
I want to. Honorable members, when you look at 4, it says the minister shall appoint the members of the board, taking into consideration the following: 1, the interest of the sports sector; 2, the shareholders of the sports sector. Stakeholders, shareholders, not stakeholder. Why are you reading for me? It should be stakeholders. 3, persons with a disability. And 4, gender balance. Why don't you have trust in your executive? For heaven's sake. I don't want a way forward. All of you sit. Why don't you for once have trust in your executive? Honorable Minister, do you have a problem with this?
Right Honorable Speaker, at one time I thought I would not be where I am, but you are all coming to where I am. So for that matter, I have no problem with that proposal. I thank you.
Can I hear from the private member? From the sponsor of the motion?
Chair and colleagues, first of all, to have a representative from the federations. These federations are geographically set up. The interests of the geography are taken care of in the federations. So I support the way it is. Thank you.
Thank you. You people, when the authorities have talked, again, what clarification? Honorable members, honorable, second, you want to second? Honorable members, I put a question that clause 32 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 32 as amended.
I put a question that clause 32 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 75.
Clause 75.
Madam Chair, clause 75. Delete clause 75. Justification, Madam Chair, to ensure compliance with the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and the Local Government Act, Cap 243.
Honorable members, I want to read for you 75 as it is, as the bill was. That is public sports facilities. 75(1). The land on which public sports facilities are strated and the public sports facilities thereon shall be vested in the council. 2. The council shall not sell, lease, mortgage, or dispose of, or otherwise deal with the land on which the public sports facilities are strated and public sports facilities, that the land on which the public sports facilities are strated shall not be a subject of execution. That is 75. Can you give us a reason as to why you want to delete it? And why did you suggest that we delete it? Because this is the only clause that protects our land. I first want, let's hear from him why he's making that.
Madam Chair and honorable members, as put in our report, our biggest worry was that, one, if we go by the, by the President's proposal or bring out that schedule as mentioned, it will indicate that these sports facilities are already taken over by the National Council of Sports, and it will bring out legal battles. Then secondly, when we go to Article 26 of the Constitution, I didn't want to go into details, and also on the Local Government Act, you'd really see that the local government as a legal entity or the Uganda Land Commission have right over their facilities and the land on which the facilities are located. So we were trying to avoid challenges that would come up against the council in case this one is put in the law.
What challenge would we have if we left out the schedule and left the clause as it is? I'm still asking you, the chair.
Madam Chair and honorable members, the challenge that we would have, honorable colleagues, I think the issues taken care of 75.2. The 75.2 say the council shall not sell, lease, mortgage, dispose of, or otherwise deal with the land on which public sports.
What I'm saying, assuming we don't attach the schedule, assuming we don't bring in the schedule as requested by the President, shall we have any challenge? Attorney General. I want my question to be answered.
Fortunately, being lobed today and a member of the Committee of Education, I am one of those people who are in strong support of having all these assets under National Council of Sports. If you create that entity without assets and properties, what will be its work? Secondly, the moment you delete that one, you are going to create theft for this land. If it has been stolen throughout when there is no law, what will happen when it is not insulated? Let us look at Nambole itself. Whenever we meet Nambole, we ask who is owning Nambole. There's nobody owning Nambole.
There's an order from the chair.
Madam Chair, I feel a little bit constrained to move a point of order against my member. We communicated to all members on WhatsApp groups, in the SMS. I tried even to reach him on phone, but he didn't attend the meeting. His phone was not passing through. He didn't attend the meeting. Is the member therefore in order to come and raise a matter when he's supposed to have been in the committee meeting?
I think he's talking as a leader of opposition. Attorney General? No.
Right, Honorable Speaker. I think the question you ask is simply put is that if the schedule is not added, would have no problem with Section 75 as it stands currently in the bill. I'll pray that members be pleased to keep Section 75 as it is without a schedule in the Act. The reason being that
listen, I want you to listen attentively.
Once we go through the processes of vesting land in the National Council of Sports, there must be a protection that makes sure that that land cannot be alienated out of the National Council of Sports. So you need Section 75 to be existent in order for you to place land to be protected under that Act. I beg to submit.
Honorable members, Honorable Minister, let me first have the...
Madam Chair, I agree with the submission of the Attorney General in terms of us protecting the provision of Clause 75 in the bill.
Chair.
Madam Chair and honorable colleagues, on behalf of the committee, I concede.
Mover. The mover.
You need to stay in front. Don't come back here.
Yes.
You need to stay near the chair.
Chair,
Come back this side.
as the mover, I support that we keep Clause 75 as it is.
Now you sit there, so don't you?
Honorable Bahati.
Chair, I support as seconder of the bill.
Thank you so much. I put a question that Kilo 75 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Schedule 2.
Chair.
Madam Chair and honorable members, Schedule 2 is amended by inserting immediately after the words American football, the word archery. Justification to include archery as a sports discipline since it is recognized by the National Council of Sports.
Minister.
Madam Chair, I agree with the committee's submission.
Mover.
I agree to the submission.
Clarification.
There is a clarification from...
I do request that the chair gives us the difference between American football and the archery. Then we can now understand. One.
Honorable members, first of all,
thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. Isiagi, Honorable, said he wants the chairman to explain between the difference between American football and archery. Now the minister is coming. We need the chairman to explain.
No, it is a joint effort. Minister, can you explain?
Madam Speaker, let me pass it to the chairman of the committee.
Can we have the minister?
honorable members, first of all, most of these disciplines we're talking about are disciplines which are played under the Olympics to begin with, for purpose of archery. Archery, most of you, there's almost a bow and arrow, which is sharp, and it is normally played in Olympic Games. So, number two, the American football is a common football which is played by the Americans, and of course, as a country, as of now, is one of the most popular sports. And of course, I want to say the American people have set up an academy here, which is in Mpigi, and I want to confirm about almost 20 Ugandan young boys are being professionally trained, and they're already joining the National Football League of the American football in the United States of America. It's one of the highest paying football sports in the country. I thank you so much.
Madam Chair.
Honorable Ishagi, is that what you wanted to hear?
I'm very, very satisfied, Chair.
You're very, very satisfied.
Yes.
Honorable members, I put a question that Schedule 2 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Schedule 2 as amended.
I put a question that Schedule 2 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. Now, you ministers who are talking when we are passing your bills. I can see Honorable Ogwang talking with his wife, Sarah.
Motion for resumption of the House.
Honorable Ogwang married Sarah's sister.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable, for that clarification. I know he's my brother-in-law.
Madam Speaker and honorable members, I beg to move that the House do resume and the committee of the House reports there too.
Honorable members, I put a question that the House does resume and the committee of the whole House resumes there too. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Mpindi, when the speaker is speaking, you sit.
Report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House considered the National Sports Bill 2023 as returned by the President and passed it with amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker and honorable members, I beg to move that the House adopts the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
I put a question that the House adopts the report of the Committee of the Whole House. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. Let's have it.
Bill's third reading, the National Sports Bill 2023 as returned by His Excellency the President.
The bill third reading, we still have the quorum in place of 184. Bill. Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, honorable members, I beg to move that the National Sports Bill 2023 as returned by the President be read for the third time and do pass.
I put a question that the National Sports Bill 2023 as returned by His Excellency the President be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled the National Sports Act 2023.
Bill passed and title settled.
Item 4. Bills.
Honorable members, kindly stay around. We must finish these bills. And you know what is crucial is the quorum. Yes.
Item 4, Bill's second reading, the Financial Institutions Amendment Bill 2023.
Honorable members, you recall on 20th June 2023, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development tabled 6 bills, including the Financial Institutions Act, Bill 2023. The bill is aimed at operationalizing Islamic banking services. Operationalizing Islamic banking services. Pursuant to Rule 129 of the Rules of Procedure, I referred the bill to the Committee of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and the bill is ready for consideration. I now invite the Minister to move a motion.
Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Financial Institutions Amendment Bill 2023 be read for the second time.
Seconded. Seconded by Honorable Bahati, Afidra, Faith, Elders, Public Service, Olympian, Ankole, by the Chairman Finance, Chairman ICT, Max Education, Hajat Aisha Kabanda, Rose Emmanuel, Professor. Thank you. Linda, Wanda, Bumali. Mpindi. Honorable Bumali Mpindi, you stand up. They want to see you. There are no young girls this side. You see, seated next to a young girl. Yes, Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, the bill is intended to amend the Financial Institutions Act 2004 by repealing Section 1152, establishing the Central Sharia Advisory Council in the central bank because of the following reasons. One is that the requirement for the Central Sharia Advisory Council to approve products to be offered by the commercial banks create a conflict of interest for Bank of Uganda, which would later be expected to supervise the risk management framework of banks. And two, Bank of Uganda should restrict itself to assessing robustness of risk management frameworks, including Sharia compliance risk of banks using the risk-based supervision framework. Number three, the Islamic Financial Services Board guidelines on Sharia governance require all Islamic commercial banks to have in place internal Sharia advisory boards. There is no requirement for a central Sharia advisory council at the central bank. That is, it is not a prerequisite for the rollout of Islamic banking. Number four, the mandate to approve Islamic products to be offered by financial institutions overlaps the mandate of the Sharia advisory boards that are established at the institutional level by Section 115B. And lastly, five, in terms of governance, it is not prudent for a regulator to approve products of financial institutions. It regulates and supervises. Therefore, Bank of Uganda will approve Islamic products in accordance with the laws, but not approving products. Madam Speaker, with this justification, I pray that the House considers the bill and passes it without amendments.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, the chairperson, we presented this bill to the committee, and I'm aware that the committee is ready to report back to the House.
Thank you so much, Minister. Honorable members, having listened to the Minister, and I'm also aware that I'm the one who assigned the chairperson work. So, me to ask the chairman to present. It is not the minister who is supposed to ask my chairman to present. So, Chair, can you present? And the chairman is making his maiden speech. So there should be an exemption to that effect, because he has a strong shadow.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues. In accordance with Rule 129 of our Rules of Procedure, the bills were presented to the committee, and allow me to lay minutes and proceedings and addendas that were presented to the committee.
For which bill? For all the 6 or for one?
Yes, for all the 5.
Can you read the 5 that you are laying their minutes?
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I am laying minutes and addenda for the Excise Duty Amendment Bill number 2, 2023, the Income Tax Amendment number 2 Bill 2023, the Value Added Tax Amendment number 2 Bill 2023, the Value Added Tax Amendment Number 2, Bill 2023, and the Financial Institutions Amendment Bill 2023. I beg
Thank
to lay.
you. Thank you. Please lay.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the committee considered the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill Number 2.
We start with the financial institutions. There.
The committee considered the amendment, the Financial Institutions Bill, and I hereby report. The report of the Committee on Finance, Planning and Economic Development on the Financial Institutions Amendment Bill Number 2, 2023, Introduction. The Financial Institutions Amendment Bill 2023 was presented for the first reading on the 20th June 2023 in accordance with Rule 128 of the Parliamentary Rules of Procedure. And subsequently, the bill was referred to the Committee on Finance, Planning and Economic Development for examination in accordance with Rule 129. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the committee considered the bill through consultations with the different stakeholders, and hence this report. 2.0, the object of the bill. The object of this bill is to amend the Financial Institutions Act 2004 to repeal Section 115B, subsection 2, establishing the Central Sharia Advisory Council. 3.0, methodology. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the committee held meetings and received memoranda from the following: the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Uganda Revenue Authority, Microfinance Support Center, the Bank of Uganda, Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, Uganda Muslim Lawyers Association, Uganda Law Society, and the Private Sector Foundation Uganda. 4.0, observations and recommendations of the committee. Arising from the committee's interaction with the stakeholders as mentioned above, the committee made the following observations and recommendations. 4.1, amendment of Section 1150, subsection 2 of the Principal Act. The bill seeks to repeal Section 115B, subsection 2 of the Financial Institutions Act 2004, as amended in 2016. Section 115B establishes both institutional Sharia advisory boards with banks conducting Islamic financial businesses under 115B, subsection 1, and a Central Sharia Advisory Council in the Bank of Uganda under 115B, subsection 2. The committee observes that the establishment of the Central Sharia Advisory Council in the amendment of the Principal Act in 2016 did not take into consideration the following: that there are best global practices, and as at 2022, 13 out of 50 Islamic countries have a Central Sharia Advisory Council, CSSC. Even then, the CSCs have at their core mandate in those countries advising on monetary operations of the central bank and not supervision of institutions undertaking Islamic financial businesses. Moreover, the countries which undertake supervision, such as Malaysia, have a national strategy to promote Islamic banking, which cannot be duplicated in a secular jurisdiction like Uganda. B, the best regional practices. The Central Bank of Kenya, the Bank of Tanzania, and the National Bank of Rwanda have all licensed and are supervising Islamic financial institutions in their jurisdictions, but none has constituted a Central Sharia Advisory Council nor provided for its constitution in their legal frameworks. And this leaves Uganda's Central Sharia Advisory Council an anomaly, which may create unnecessary impediments to any other operations in the spirit of East African integration of both legislative and financial systems. And the committee further noted that the Islamic Financial Services Board has provided guidance on the operation of the Sharia Advisory Board in the financial institutions, which Bank of Uganda can implement on its supervisory framework. The Islamic Financial Services Board, established in November 2002, is an international standard-setting body for prudential regulation to ensure the soundness and stability of Islamic financial services industry, covering Islamic banking, Islamic capital market, and takaful sectors. Uganda is a member of the IFSB and seeks to leverage on this expertise for guidance in regulating this nascent industry until such a time when it has built the adequate capacity to enact it in the law. And the committee therefore noted the need to ensure the adequate supervision of the institutional Sharia advisory boards by the central bank in order to avoid a lacuna in the supervision of the compliance with the Sharia principles. The committee therefore proposes that the council is maintained in the Act and an enabling provision be inserted to allow the minister to issue a statutory instrument for establishment of the council whenever they deem it fit. Recommendations. The committee recommends that the Financial Institutions Amendment Bill 2023 be passed into law with amendments. In conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the committee prays that the Income Tax Amendment Bill, that the Financial Institutions Amendment Bill 2023 be passed with the necessary amendments herein presented. I beg to submit.
Thank you so much, Chair. Shadow. Do you
Chair,
have a minority report?
No minority report
Okay,
on this one.
okay.
And I've duly signed this report. And Right Honorable Speaker, I would love that this also gets restricted debate.
Thank you.
Because at a committee level, we have harmonized and we have a unified voice. I beg your indulgence.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Minister, you've heard the report. Do you have anything to comment?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I have heard the report and the recommendation of the committee substantially or completely defeats our object of the bill, and I want to pray that the House declines their recommendation and maintains our position.
Honorable Attorney General.
Right Honorable Speaker, I've listened to the report and the recommendations being made therein. However, I suspect we may run into a problem because the section that we look to amend to delete to repeal from the Act says that there shall be a Central Advisory Council in the Bank of Uganda to advise the Bank of Uganda on matters of regulation and supervision of Islamic banking and approve any product to be offered by financial institutions conducting Islamic banking. First of all, the Bank of Uganda should never determine the business model of any commercial institution. It should never sit and tell you what kind of product you should send to your customers. It should sit outside to determine whether that product is safe for the customers. It is safe for the financial institution. Now, if the Bank of Uganda is going to sit and tell the bank to issue this product, then who will protect the customers?
Accept what you are saying. He has accepted my.
Honorable members, we are looking at Islamic banking services as a service. Now, when we are looking at it as a service, you're now saying we should have a central advisory Sharia board at Bank of Uganda. At Bank of Uganda. A Islamic banking service is like any other service. Just like you have agricultural banking service, you have a number of them. Are we going to have the central bank of them? Why are you frustrating? And I don't want people who are frustrating Islamic banking. I know people have been lobbied. I want to put this on record. People have been lobbied not to allow this Islamic banking go through, including myself. But we must pass it. We have one board in Bank of Uganda. We have boards in the commercial banks. Now I'm talking as a former banker for 15 years. We have boards in commercial banks. In the commercial banks that we have, this Islamic banking service is going to be one of the services, one of the products. Yes, we need to understand this thing, not just putting a perspective that, you know, we need to be managed by the central bank. Central bank is a regulator. Commercial banks do operational. And we must, the one who is going to contribute must contribute something credible. Katuntu, you looked at the Bank of Uganda. Tell us. And if we are to do that, we first amend the Bank of Uganda Act. And the Bank of Uganda Act is not here. So if we are to do that, we first amend the Bank of Uganda Act under Section 4, Functions of Bank of Uganda. Yes, Katuntu. Honorable Katuntu.
Well, thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I think you start from the Bank of Uganda Act, because it's the one that creates the institution you wish to create organs. Does the Bank of Uganda Act that creates that institution create any organ in Bank of Uganda? It doesn't. One, Bank of Uganda has already its structure from the board, governor, deputy governor, executive directors, and directors. When you talk about what they call banker supervision department, you've got sub-departments within that. One of them is commercial banking, and even has a director, commercial banking. It is not created by an act of parliament. Because what you have to do is to leave the Bank of Uganda structures work How do you make them work by now prescribing? There is only one law now which is going to prescribe any organ of Bank of Uganda. There isn't any other than the Bank of Uganda board, headed by the governor and deputy governor. I don't know whether we really seriously thought about some of those proposals. What you would need is just a department with well-qualified people to man it. That's the only thing you need.
But that should come under regulations.
It can only come under regulation. It can't come under substantive law. It can't. That will be under the regulations. And then the Bank of Uganda, through its structure, what we call banker supervision, they can create sub-departments in charge of Islamic banking. Creating a specific organ of Bank of Uganda outside the Bank of Uganda structure causes a lot of confusion and problems. Thank you, Right Honourable.
Thank you.
Right Honourable Speaker, I've listened carefully to Honourable Abdu Katuntu and the opinion of the Minister. The impression is that we are creating this advisory board. The thing is that it was created a long time ago, 7 years, and I guess the current Minister of Finance was the chair of the committee then. So if there were anomalies committed, he must first concede and apologize. If we were to go by the submission of Honorable Abdu Katuntu. Because the impression Honorable Abdu Katuntu was giving was that in this amendment we are creating this council. No. The amendment is intended to remove that provision that creates this advisory board.
You're removing 2B, which removes from the central bank.
Yes.
And maintains the one of the commercial banks.
Yes. No. Mr. Omara, be calm on this matter. Uganda will not go away. Honorable, so the impression is first that the law exists. We want to amend it and delete it. That's the intention of this provision. Now, Bank of Uganda appeared before the committee, Right Honorable Chair. You are speaking about a product that is unique in its nature. It's based on Sharia law. And because it's based on Sharia law, it has peculiar interpretations that in the ordinary conventional banking normal practices are not regularly found. Therefore, the framers of the law then had created just advisory, not for advisory council, and this is its composition. The chair of that advisory council is the Governor Bank of Uganda. The secretary to it is the secretary for legal department. Supervision of bank is the member of that board, and 2 Islamic scholars to advise on the products called Islamic financing. On the face of it, it is harmful. It's not harmful. Now, what the committee has done, and the governor, the central bank when it appeared before, it did not say that forever that advisory board will never be needed. Now, what we've done as a committee is, 1, put this provision in abeyance. Because if the minister feels he doesn't want to implement it, forever he will never implement it. But if a need arises, there will not be a need to come back to Parliament to amend and reinsert the same provision. We removed the other one. Yeah. That's why we are carrying everybody's interest on board.
There is information from Haji Katuntu.
We cannot legislate. Okay.
Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker. We will never, as long as our law remains as it is, legislate in that way and make the Bank of Uganda create a product. Imagine if Bank of Uganda creates a product and the people lose money, whom will you blame? We will never. Secondly, we don't do that for conventional banking. So if we don't do that because Bank of Uganda does not approve products for the other type of banking, which is not Islamic, won't we be discriminating? Won't it be against the law?
Asuman. Yes, Katuntu.
I think let's make this clear, Honorable Chivumbi Muwanga. Oh, Muwanga Chivumbi.
Oh,
Products are for the commercial banks.
And they are managed by the director
and they
of
are
commercial
managed
banking.
by them. If you do a good product, you make more money. If you do a bad product, you lose money. Bank of Uganda as a regulator cannot give a product. It can't be. Secondly, from your argument, you wish this house to regulate in anticipation. That should their need arise in the future, we can't be legislating that way. We are legislating what we call, there is a mischief, we legislate to cure that mischief. We can't just anticipate that in the future they will need this. If there is a need for it in the future, they will come here and they will get the legal framework for that need.
Honorable members.
Let's not overdo.
Honorable members.
If it is the opinion of the House, that was the position of the committee.
Okay.
But the committee works on behalf of
committee?
Parliament. So let's go to the committee stage. Right, Honorable Speaker.
You move
and
a motion. Move a motion.
I move a motion that we proceed to the committee stage.
Seconded by Omara. And by Honorable Haji Asumani, Haji Chairman of the committee, Haji Segumire, Hajati Najumba, Haji Magogo, Haji Hassan, all the Hajis, and Haji Katuntu. Haji Taisha, number 1. Yes, I put a question. We still have the quorum of 180 now. Honorable members. I now put a question that the Financial Institutions Amendment Bill 2023 be read the second time. Those in favor say on the contrary and nay. The ayes have it.
The Financial Institutions Amendment Bill 2023, Bills Committee stage. Clause 1.
Leader of opposition, you don't. Leader of opposition, when you.
Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, the issues that were raised are already taken up by. No, I can't say.
What?
No, mine were before the committee stage, so I can move with the committee, Madam.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Chair. Honorable members, I don't know whether everybody is on board on this issue. And I want members to understand, one, we have 4 tiers in the banking sector. We have tier 1, tier 2, those are commercial banks. We have tier 3, those are the MDIs, which law we just passed. And we also operationalized their regulations for Islamic banking. Then tier 4 is where we have the circles. Now, what we are doing today is to make an amendment in the Financial Institutions Act that is existing for us to operationalize the operation of Islamic banking. And what we are now saying, that since all other commercial banks have their boards in place, we cannot discriminate and have the Sharia board in Bank of Uganda. Bank of Uganda's work is to monitor the operations of other commercial banks. Basically that. It is as simple as that.
Right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the committee had made a position, but given the discussions in the House, I hereby concede.
Thank you. So what is the right?
Madam Chair, conceding. Now this means that our proposal stands, and it's a one-cross bill. I beg that you put a question.
Honorable members, clause 1 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
Title. I put a question that the title stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Motion for resumption of the House.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that the House do resume and the Committee of the whole House reports thereto.
I put a question that the House resumes and the Committee of the whole House reports thereto. Those in favor say and contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Report of the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the whole House has considered the bill entitled the Financial Institutions Amendment Bill 2023 and passed it with no amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the report from the Committee of the whole House be adopted.
I put a question that the House adopts the report of the Committee of the whole House. Those in favor say and contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Bill's third reading.
Bill's third reading, we still have the quorum of 180.
Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Financial Institutions Amendment Bill 2023 be read for the third time and do pass.
Honorable members, I put a question that the Financial Institutions Amendment Bill 2023 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say and contrary nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled the Financial Institutions Amendment Act
The bill
2023.
passed and title settled. Congratulations.
Item 5, Bill's second.
Haji Chivumbi, congratulations. Yes, next item.
Item 5.
Honorable members, the other small bills are consequential of what we have just passed, the tax bills.
Item 5, Bill's second reading, the Excise Duty Amendment Number 2 Bill 2023.
Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Excise Duty Amendment Bill number 2, 2023 be read for the second time.
Seconded. Honorable Gwang Achon, UPDF, Honorable Chivumbi of Butambala, Honorable Asumani Hassani, Bukoto East, Dr. Bedi Hajataisha, Okot, Adome, Stephen, Apollot, all the royal guards. It has been seconded by the whole House members. Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the bill is intended to amend the Excise Duty Act 2014 in Schedule 2 to substitute item 14, provide for a 15% excise duty on ledger fees, ATM fees, withdrawal fees, periodic charges, and other transaction and non-transaction charges, excluding loans or the equivalent under Islamic banking related charges periodically charged by a financial institution or a microfinance deposit-taking institution. We are doing this because we intend to provide for equal tax treatment of Islamic products related to charges on ledger fees, withdrawal fees, etc., to ensure parity with the equivalent products under conventional banking. The proposed amendment does not affect the rate, which is 15% of the fees charged. I submit.
Thank you, Chair.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Just give us your recommendations.
The committee considered this bill and we hereby recommend that the Excise Duty Amendment Bill number 2 of the 2023 be passed into law with the proposed amendments.
Which amendment? Of what the minister is saying? Honorable Chivumbi.
Chair, as I've said, for the rest of the bills, I don't even need to stand. We have no objection. We fully agree with what government brought and what the committee has processed.
Move a motion.
I move a motion that the House goes to committee stage.
Seconded. Seconded by the whole House. All the Hajis. I put a question that the Excise Duty Amendment number 2 Bill 2023 be read the second time. Those in favor say under control and nay. The ayes have it. As I said, we have the quorum.
The Excise Duty Amendment number 2 Bill 2023 bills committee stage.
Please sit.
Clause 1.
Clause 1, Chair. Clause 1 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say under control and nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
I put a question that title stands part of the bill. Those in favor say to control and nay. The ayes have it.
Motion for resumption of the House.
Madam Chair, I beg to move a motion that the House do resume and the Committee of the whole House reports thereto.
I put a question that the House does resume and the Committee of the whole House reports thereto. Those in favor say under control and nay. The ayes have it.
Report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the bill entitled the Excise Duty Amendment Bill Number 2, 2023 and passed it with no amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the report from the Committee of the Whole House be adopted.
I put a question that the House adopts a report of the Committee of the Whole House. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Bill third reading, the Excise Duty Amendment Number 2 Bill 2023.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Excise Duty Amendment Bill Number 2, 2023 be read for the third time and do pass.
I put a question that the Excise Duty Amendment Bill Number 2, 2023 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled the Excise Duty Amendment Number 2 Act 2023.
Bill passed and title settled.
Item 6, Bill second reading, the Stamp Duty Amendment Bill 2023.
Stamp duty, Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the Stamp Duty Amendment Bill 2023 be read for the second time.
Seconded. Seconded by Christine Amero Akamba. General Luelu. By the whole House. Can you speak to your bill?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, this bill is intended to amend the Stamp Duty Act of 2014 to provide for equivalent stamp duty treatment of instruments under Islamic financial business to conventional instruments under the financial services. I submit, Right Honorable.
Thank you, Chair.
Right Honorable Speaker, as earlier guided by yourself, allow me to go straight to the observations and recommendations of the committee. The committee made the following observations and recommends that the committee observes that the object of the bill as presented does not specifically provide for tactful business. The committee noted that this is an oversight given that the tactful forms part of the objects of the bill as evidenced under the various clauses within including clause 1, 2, and 4. The committee further observes that while referencing the Islamic bonds, it is not clear that the purpose of the bonds were meant to serve. The committee therefore inserts the word issuing or purchasing for the Islamic bond to provide clarity for the purpose of the bonds. And therefore, the committee recommends that the bill be passed with the above-mentioned amendments. Conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker and members, the committee prays that the Stamp Duty Amendment Bill 2023 be passed with amendments as herein presented. Thank you.
Honorable Chivumbi.
Right Honorable Speaker, we have no objection. We fully agree with the committee's report.
Motion.
Right Honorable Speaker, I move that the question be put and the committee, the House moves to a committee of the whole House.
Seconded. Seconded by Haja Somani, Haja Isha, Haji Chirio, Haji Keke. By the whole house. I now put a question that the Stamp Duty Amendment Bill 2023 be read the second time. Those in favor say the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
The Stamp Duty Amendment Bill 2023, Bills Committee stage.
There are members here when the speaker stands and you're supposed to stand and you remain sitting. I will chase you out of this house. If you cannot stand, get out of the house. Yes.
Clause 1.
Clause 1, I put a question that clause 1 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I put a question that clause 2 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 3.
I put a question that clause 3 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
Clause 4. Chair.
Right Honorable Speaker and Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues. Right Honorable Chair and honorable colleagues. The committee proposes the amendments on the stamp duty under clause 4 as follows. That clause 4 be amended in paragraph A by substituting for item 5 the following. Agreement or memorandum of the agreement except a sale-based financing agreement between the vendor or borrower and the person licensed to carry out the Islamic financial business. And B, in paragraph B, by inserting immediately after the word Islamic bond, the words issuing or purchasing. And under C, by inserting immediately before the words an Islamic bond, the words issuing or purchasing. And D, by inserting immediately before the words an Islamic bond, the words issuing or purchasing. And E, by inserting immediately before the word an Islamic bond and words issuing or purchasing. And in paragraph F, by inserting immediately before the words an Islamic bond, the words issuing or purchasing. Justification. Right Honorable Chair and members, justification is that 1, to provide clarity for the agreement exempted from paying stamp duty in paragraph A, and 2, to provide clarity in the purpose of the Islamic bond in paragraph B and F. I beg to move.
B to F.
B to F.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Chair, I agree with the committee.
Thank you. Shadow.
Right Honorable Chair, we have no objection. We are a committee.
I put a question that clause 4 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. Let's have it.
Clause 4 as amended.
I put a question that clause 4 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
I put a question that the title stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Motion for resumption of the House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Chair, I beg to move a motion that the House do resume and the committee of the whole House reports thereto.
I put a question that the House resumes and the Committee of the whole House reports there too. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Report of the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the whole House has considered the bill entitled the Stamp Duty Amendment Bill 2023 and passed it with amendments.
Thank you.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the report from the Committee of the whole House be adopted.
I put a question that the House adopts the report of the Committee of the whole House. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Bills third reading.
Bill third reading, we still have the quorum of 180.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the Stamp Duty Amendment Bill 2023 be read for the third time and do pass.
I put a question that the Stamp Duty Amendment Bill 2023 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled the Stamp Duty Amendment Act 2023.
Bill passed and title settled.
Item 7, Bill second reading, the Income Tax Amendment Number 2 Bill 2023.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the Income Tax Amendment Bill Number 2, 2023 be read for the second time.
Seconded. Seconded by the whole House. Can you speak to your bill?
Right Honorable Speaker, the object of this bill is to amend the Income Tax Act Cap 340 to provide for equivalent tax treatment of Islamic financial business and takaful business to conventional financial services or insurance business. I submit.
Thank you. Chair.
Right Honorable Speaker, as earlier guided, allow me to go straight to the observations and recommendations of the committee. Right Honorable Speaker and members, arising from committee's interaction with the stakeholders, the committee made the following observations and recommendations. That Clause 1C, amendment of Section 2 of the Principal Act to define interest. Clause 1C seeks to amend Section 2KK of the Principal Act by replacing the interpretation of the word interest to include various financial benefits within the products and services available under Islamic financial businesses, such as discounts, premiums made under sale-based financing or lease-based financing, any payments as the excess of the total amount paid by the bond issuer over and above the amount received from a bondholder, and the partner's share of the partnership income derived from a partnership arrangement under Islamic banking. The committee noted that the amendment shall provide for equivalent tax treatment of Islamic financial and takaful businesses to conventional financial services of insurance businesses. The committee further observes the following. Given the need to comply with the Sharia law, Islamic banks are prohibited from undertaking transactions based on fixed or predetermined rate of interest. This gives rise to the usage of contracts whereby interest rates are replaced by a rate of return that is determined ex post on the basis of actual profits accrued from profit and loss sharing arrangements for investment in the real sector. A markup determined based on a benchmarked rate of return, such as LIBOR, for the purchase and resale of goods and services, and the provision of services at a fee. Further, the issue of the use of the word interest in the Islamic financial business is likely to cause confusion among customers. This is because the word interest does not apply to Sharia law and to the contrary is seen as repugnant to its fundamental proposition. Instead, it is proposed that the word interest be replaced with the word profit. The committee therefore proposes that the word interest be replaced with the word return on investment within the context of Islamic financial banking. And the committee therefore recommends the following. The word interest be replaced with the word return on investments under clause 1 of the bill amending section 2KK of the Principal Act. Clause 12, recharacterization of arrangement under Islamic financial business. The amendment seeks to recharacterize any arrangements under Islamic financial businesses not provided for under the Act to ensure that it covers by any equivalent arrangements under conventional financial services for purposes of reflecting the equivalent economic substance other than form. And the provision empowers the Commissioner General to undertake the recharacterization in accordance with Sharia law. The committee observes the following. It is proposed that the Commissioner General's powers should be deterred by amending the provision to include the need for the Commissioner General to consult with the experts on the Sharia law, including the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council and the Accounting and Auditing Organization for Islamic Financial Institutions, AAOIFI. AAOIFI is an Islamic international autonomous non-for-profit corporate body that prepares accounting, auditing, governance, ethics, and Sharia standards for Islamic financial institutions and the industry. The committee, however, noted that the provision under Clause 12 already deters the powers of the Commissioner General for the purposes of recharacterizing Islamic financial businesses. In Clause 2 of the proposed Section 163A, specifically states that the Commissioner General shall, and emphasis added, comply with the Sharia principles in recharacterizing an arrangement under Islamic financial businesses not provided for under this Act. The committee observes that the use of the word shall restricts the exercise of recharacterizing any arrangement under Islamic financial business by the Commissioner General to only that which is acceptable under the principles of Sharia. Any further specification of the law may limit the Commissioner General to only those entities mentioned, which may limit the implementation of the law itself. The committee therefore recommends that Clause 12 be maintained in the bill. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the committee prays that the Income Tax Amendment Bill number 2 of 2023 be passed with amendments as herein presented. I beg to move.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Minister.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the committee for considering the bill. I, however, have a concern that the committee is proposing amendments within this bill, which I'm just seeing here now. And with this, Madam Speaker, I beg that the House...
Which amendments are those?
The amendments...
Were
the
they
chair
part of the original bill?
No.
Can we look at what was in the original bill?
The original bill I presented to the committee is here with me, and whatever they are proposing to insert are completely new, and I'm just seeing them now. I am unable to even form an opinion about them.
Honorable members, you know it is our rules. It is by law that you cannot just smuggle in an amendment at committee level on what was not. And that's what failed the legal aid bill. AG?
Right Honorable Speaker, I think we may want to confer. We can have a discussion with the committee, and I've just had a discussion with the Honorable Mara while the chair was here. I think what happened is that when they were addressing the bill, this amendment, the bill, the thought went more towards Islamic banking, whereas this Income Tax Act addresses both conventional banking and Islamic banking. That when you're reading the definitions that you need to make here, you need to take into consideration that that clause will affect both conventional banking and Islamic banking. So if you change, for example, the definition of interest and call it return on investment, then you will not find that available in conventional banking. So you will end up not taxing conventional banking. When you look at what they have defined here in 5 and 7, they're already in 1 to 4. So the bill covers all the aspects that they have provided for. And I've just shared it with the Honorable Mara. I propose, honorable colleagues and members, that the bill stands as was presented by government. I beg to submit.
But it is also a known fact that Islamic banking does not charge interest. Yes.
Yes, right, Honorable Speaker. What happened is that the Income Tax Act, as it were, had provided for interest, and it had provided that there will be taxes on interest. Now, when you get Islamic banking doesn't charge interest. So in the amendment that is proposed by the minister, it says interest shall include any payment in excess of the total. So when you do Islamic banking, it is the excess that you're paying more is what you have done to define it in legal terms as interest, but it is not interest. So you will go to KK, it will be return on investment.
Honorable members, when you look at clause 1 of the bill, it gives you a definition of interest. And in the definition of interest, it also gives you the definition on Islamic banking vis-a-vis the other kind of banking, the conventional banking. That is in clause 1. So it shouldn't be a problem. Yes, Chair.
Chair, having seen this explanation, because the committee's concern was about the word interest, I hereby concede.
Honorable members, why you see this kind of amendment, it is a kind of a dual approach. It looks at both of them. Which amendments were there in the first bill that you presented, and which ones were not there? Let's first look at that.
Yeah,
Which amendments were there? Yes.
Madam Speaker, you see, whatever I said before Parliament is recorded and answered. We have heard the chair reading the report, and the minister is saying he's seeing new amendments that were not within the original bill. And this one must be dispelled off, both sides, whether they have brought in amendments that were not part of the original bill. And the report, of course. Yeah.
No, for clarification for the record, there is no new item that has been brought in the bill. The committee only sought to clarify on the provision that had been brought by the minister. So they were all provided for.
Attorney General, thank you for responding on behalf of the minister. But then we have to expand his statement because he's conceding. Definitely on behalf of, and I think you are the government.
He's responding on behalf of government.
I'm seeking from the speaker's intelligence. Then we have to expand and we go ahead. Otherwise, he's conceding on what you are disagreeing upon.
He says there was an expansion, not an introduction.
Madam Speaker,
he's a legal advisor.
The minister stated
no,
here.
No, it is the legal advisor now
talking.
talking.
Something new. But you are running, and you are the one who brought that act, by the way. You are the chairman of that committee by that time. Now you are running away from your former responsibility. You just withdraw what you stated before.
Now, all of you first sit. Once the legal advisor has clarified, he has clarified. Aisha.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, we legislate for people, not for ourselves. The understanding of the Muslim community, the word interest is riba. And to them, riba is forbidden. Whatever definition we shall give it, once you call it, we've been laboring to persuade them into taking loans, telling them this is not the other interest. They say, but they've called it interest, then it is. So I persuade colleagues not to define what we have called, what we know as internal rate of return as interest. There we shall have made it riba. What we would do, we would say the commissioner will charge on interest and also charge on internal rate of return. It will sort of people's mind because we legislate for those people, and those people's understanding is that interest is riba. Whichever other definition you give them, it will not satisfy them as long as it will have been written as interest. Interest is forbidden in Islam.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, it is important that this matter be put in its proper context. And Chair, I want you to help, if you are real, to help the entire concept of Islamic banking. In the original act, and I'm glad the Attorney General has given clarification. There is nothing new being introduced. Yes. They are trying to sever, by creating definition on return on investment so that there is a clear distinction between interest and return on investment. Yes. Because the moment you use interest, you are now running counter to the principle of Islamic banking. So interest has remained in the conventional banking, and even in the law, it has remained. And they are only distinguishing, because what happened was that under the definition of interest, Right Honourable Speaker, they had included interest as we understand it and the elements of Islamic banking, which was a problem. So what the committee and the chair, you should not be conceding. What the committee is saying is that let interest remain in the original law, as it were. Then these other aspects that touch on Sharia should be defined under what we call return on investment, so that the two are separate. And I think moving in that direction, then you are going to help the entire concept of Islamic banking. Otherwise, there is nothing new being introduced apart from creating a distinction.
Attorney General, do you have any problem on the Sharia, on the Islamic banking, calling the benefit they get as a return on the investment? If there is no problem, then why don't we?
Right, Honorable Speaker, there is no problem. I think it is the risk that we are dealing with. So, for compromise, I was discussing with again Honorable Mara, and was saying if we defined interest and or return of on investment means this, because you know you have an existing legal regime under which banks are being taxed, that when you try to separate them, you see, Islamic banking is a product. It is a product inside a bank.
Honorable members, I want to introduce you to clause 1. In clause 1, you look at KK, that is the interest includes. Can't we say interest or return on investment includes? It will cover both. It will cover both. Attorney General.
In drafting form, I think it would make it will cover both aspects.
Yes. Aisha, is that okay?
Right Honorable Speaker, and we would love, Attorney General, that this issue is at the core, because you see, you are talking about interest in Islam riba, and when you mention interest, you fail the entire principle.
We are now covering both the conventional banking and then
now,
the
when
Islamic.
you want to a definition written that way, because what they've done in the committee amendment is that they've left the conventional provision as they are, and then provided definitions under Islamic banking. So those that are not under Islamic banking will go by the definitions as they are in the Act. So this amendment is specific. So I would appeal to the Attorney General and the Minister to reflect closely and buy in with what the committee did on this one.
I want to find out from the Attorney General. You see, we might use semantics, and at the end of the day, it is the interest. What's the difference between return on investment and interest? Could you help us know that? Tell us legally. Yeah.
Honorable members, this is a very, very important bill. Very important. Can I ask government to harmonize with the committee? And you come up with a harmonized position, so we are standing over this, and you come with a harmonized position. And we'll handle this on Thursday. Is that?
Madam Speaker, we accept your wise guidance we are going to go back and harmonize, come back with an agreeable position. Thank you.
Item 8, the Value Added Tax Amendment Number 2 Bill 2023.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill Number 2 of 2023 be read for the second time.
Seconded. Seconded by the whole House. Minister.
Madam Speaker, the object of this bill is to amend the Value Added Tax Amendment Act, Cap 349, to provide for an equivalent treatment of Islamic financial business to conventional financial services. I submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Chair.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the committee observes and recommends as follows. The committee observed that the amendments seek to realign the determination of time of supply of goods under conventional banking and Islamic financial business, treatment of credit for the input tax, and filing of the tax return for VAT. And therefore, the committee recommends that the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill Number 2 of 2023 be passed into law. I beg to move.
Haji Chivumbi.
Right Honorable Speaker, we have no objection, and I move that you put the question and the committee, the House moves to the House moves to committee stage.
Is it seconded? Seconded by the whole House. I now put a question that the Value Added Amendment Number 2 Bill 2023 be read the second time. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
The Value Added Tax Amendment Number 2 Bill 2023 bills committee stage. Clause 1.
I put a question that clause 1 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I put a question that clause 2 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 3.
I put a question that clause 3 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
I put a question that clause 4 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
I put a question that clause 5 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 6.
I put a question that clause 6 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
I put a question that the title stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Motion for resumption of the House.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Chair, I beg to move that the House do resume and the committee of the whole House reports thereto.
I put a question that the House resumes and the committee of the whole House reports thereto. Those in favor say aye and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the bill entitled the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill number 2, 2023, and passed it without amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the report from the Committee of the Whole House be adopted.
I put a question that the House adopts the report of the Committee of the Whole House. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Bill's third reading, the Value Added Tax Amendment number 2, Bill 2023.
The bill's third reading will still have the quorum.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill number 2, 2023 be read for the third time and do pass.
I put a question that the Income Tax Amendment Bill number 2, 2023. I put a question that the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill number 2, 2023 be read a third time and do pass. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled the Value Added Tax Amendment number 2 Act 2023.
Bill passed and title settled. Honorable members, as I said before, in the Education Committee, there are members that I didn't get an apology who did not sign the report. Equally, in this Committee of Finance, I want to understand why members did not sign the committee. And if you didn't sign the the report, that means you did not attend. And I didn't get any apology from anywhere. I need a written explanation. We agreed the third session is for work. Okay? I need a written explanation to the effect, and I want to congratulate Honorable Amos for your maiden bill. We'll handle the one we have. Honorable Mwanga, we want to thank you so much for this work. I know you guided a committee. I will handle what we have stood over, the income tax, on Thursday, plus the foreign exchange on Thursday. I am saying we'll handle foreign exchange and income tax on Thursday. And inshallah. And all the bills that are outstanding, we want the bills in the House. Once again, I want to wish the Muslim community. I have given you a present for Eid. This parliament has given you a present. And the present that we have given you is Islamic banking. I want to wish you a happy celebration and all the blessings. We adjourn the House to Thursday at 2:29.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
Get away with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala, we have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Bridge High, a high school TV drama that you do not want to miss. Who takes the title for the most popular and cool girl and boy in schools? Who are the good students? Which part were you during the high school times? Come and be part of this epic high school series movie premiere as you relive your school drama times. Tickets go for 30,000 ordinary and 50,000 VIP. Early bird will pay 25k and 45k respectively. 21st July 2023 at the National Theatre. Contact us on 0784 930190 or 0703 826623 for details. Sponsored by Bella Wine, Charism, UBC and U24 TV.